All right, welcome to Hackers XXIX Light. And let's have a big hand for the governor of South Carolina. We're going to keep it, after that comment, very positive. This is just an amazing group of guys and a girl that took a disaster and still managed to have a good time. And before we get to the main event, Mr. Paul Prashazny has some good news to share with all of us.
I do, yes. Today, I became a grandfather for the 4th time.
Yay!
And in order to do that, last night, at about 6 o'clock, my wife left. Well, first of all, my daughter was not real happy that I was going to Hackers in the middle of her pregnancy when she's about to be due. And so I kind of figured, you know what, if God's got a plan, He's going to let me know. And sure enough, He sends a hurricane to knock out the plans. And I got home, and that made it a little better. So yesterday, my wife leaves at 6 o'clock for Columbus, and she says, I'll call you if they take her to the hospital. Well, they took her to the hospital. So at 10:30, I go pick up my other daughter. We drive to Columbus. They go to the hospital to watch the birth of the baby, which didn't happen until 6 o'clock in the morning. I get stuck at home with the 80-pound Labradoodle sleeping on the couch, and he really got the best of me there. And the baby was born about 6:30, so then I decided to go visit the baby at about 8 o'clock. Got my daughter back, drove her home, got my stuff, and came here to be with you fine folks.
Thank you, Paul.
We don't have a name yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least that I know of. They were still debating. It's either going to be Raina, Charlotte, or what was the other one that she liked? Eleanor.
Paul what?
Raina, Charlotte, or Eleanor, I think were the 3 finalists. I don't know.
I became a grandpa for the 3rd time on Wednesday.
Yeah! And Mark, how were you?
Paul.
Yeah.
I was responsible for canceling.
I
guess I'll take a little credit.
Okay.
Well, not
So
me,
Dale,
but
I apologize.
it really wasn't
I
Dale.
guess you didn't really visit the governor.
Hey, he didn't answer the door.
What's up with him?
Is it true what I heard, what you did to the governor to have him cancel, declare evacuation?
I was so afraid.
Huh?
I was so afraid.
Wait a minute, let me see that mustache. There's a little something on that mustache.
Okay. All right, guys. All right, back to the main event. I don't even remember what day it was. I think it was Tuesday night. We were in Whitville. We had just gotten soaked, trying to play golf. And Bob Baxendale called me up and said, yeah, why don't we all just have this big outing on Friday for everybody who's in town? You're supposed to be on vacation anyway and golfing and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I had just been through, and God bless Jim Toth. He had to put up with my happy ass in his car 3 days in a row.
It was a happy ass.
Yeah.
And we won't even get into some of the phone calls that happened in that car. But we lost 7 guys from Hackers the night before. I'm dealing with that. We're doing a reset on matches and everything else. And then I get the word that we have to turn around and go home the next day. We did have like 27 people at dinner Monday night, so it was a good day. It was a good day. I was drinking beer and eating food with 26 of my friends, and you know, that's a good day, so even if we had to go home. But Bob had finally called me with this, and I had nothing left to give. I thought it was a great idea, and I said, Bob, run with it. That's a great idea. You're the HMFIC for the day. So I want to thank Bob. Thank you, Bob. And Paul for helping him, and anybody else who helped him out, because this would not have happened. We would not have been here today without Bob Baxendale, so I appreciate that. To go to a serious note, got a little thing up here for Ross and Heath. We lost 2 of our own from last trip to this trip. And Chris Pratt put an incredible video together, a tribute to our 2 fallen members. He's going to post it on YouTube. Everybody's going to get the link so you'll be able to view that. But in the meantime, since we're all here, Bob Leidick is going to, I think everybody's got something to drink, right? Bob Leidick's going to do a toast to Ross, and in Wade and Doug's absence, Dale Kukwa is going to do a toast to Heath. So if everybody's got something, I'm going to turn it over to you 2 guys. Get up and let's do this.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Hey, this is to Heath. A lot of you guys were there when we were at Liberty Tavern, and I got a little choked up because I played golf with Heath, I roomed with Heath, I dined with Heath, and had just a blast with him. He was just a stand-up guy. All he talked about when I was with him was his sons playing baseball, and he was just an extraordinary person. He was a true hacker. He was just an excellent guy to be around. And I just, I wish some of the rookies that didn't get to play with him would have gotten a chance to meet this guy, but I think everybody here, Bill, especially you, would testify that this guy was truly a gentleman, and
he defined hackers.
yeah, he is the guy that he's our
we all want to be.
He is.
We all want to be. This guy was the best guy. And here's the
Here.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mr. Leidick.
Thank you, Joe.
Deal, Formula One.
Come up so I don't get the backlighting.
I'm sorry?
Come over in the middle so I don't get the backlighting.
Before I get into a toast to Ross, Ross was married to Pam for 6 months before he passed away. And I asked Pam, I said, would you like anything for me to say to this wonderful group of hackers here? So Pam sent me this text. So I want to share Pam's note with you guys.
Can you forward that to 26 people?
No.
He's doing it right now.
No. Ross lived life passionately from his childhood in White Cloud, Michigan, his beloved MSU Spartans, a military career that spanned 2 decades
Was he
in
not a
the
captain?
U.S. Navy.
He was a captain,
He was a
right?
captain. He started up 2 software companies, and he started up the Susan Mass ALS Foundation. But Susan was his wife for 25 years, who passed away from ALS. And then Ross and Pam met in June 12, 2015, and other than his golf trips to hackers, were never apart until his passed away on February 17th. They were married August 12, 2017, like I said, 6 months. And during Pam and Ross's time together, they played hundreds of rounds of golf at his golf course in Thousand Oaks, Grand Rapids, Michigan, if you've ever been there. And in several states. They played golf in England, and they played golf in Portugal. And Pam said Ross's philosophy was once a friend, always a friend. So let me get my glass here.
What do you have left?
So here's to Ross. He said,
Hey,
a great friend, a loving and caring husband, father, grandfather, and Ross was a big dog lover. At one time, him and Susan had 5 rescue dogs. 5 rescue dogs, Mr. Herzog. You remember that.
Hey, and all.
But they wouldn't rescue him.
All
Fantastic.
did not have a better friend with Bob Lang.
Yeah.
So here's to Ross.
I don't remember.
Salute.
Just a side note, you notice Bruce with the video camera here. For those that could not make this, we're videoing this whole ceremony. It will be posted on YouTube so everybody else can see it. In addition, Bob mentioned the Susan Mass Foundation, and for Heath, we also have a golf outing coming up to benefit his kids. I have already taken the opening night beer money and given that to sponsor a hole in the Hacker's name for Heath, but anybody that is not here tonight that has prize money coming, many of them have already donated it to the cause. I'm going to pass a can around here, even if it's just $1. If anybody could, I'll start it with Denny here, pass it around, and whatever's in there, we're going to divide it up. Half goes to the Susan Mass Foundation, and I'll get half to Doug and Jean for the golf outing that they're putting on for Heath. All right? In addition, there was no voting this year for the Hacker Hall of Fame.
Yeah, don't pass that around until the prize money is distributed.
Well, it'll still be here. It'll still be here. There was no Hall of Fame voting this year. That's because there's 2 guys going in, and I think you know who it is.
Yep.
All right? So Heath is going in. I'm going to present the plaques to Wade and to Doug, his cousin and his best friend. But for today, since Bob is here, I have a Hall of Fame plaque for you as a remembrance for Ross. He is in the Hacker Hall of Fame.
He beat you in 3.
Okay.
And he didn't win a green shirt.
He did not win it.
He never had a
He
30
did win
So
it. Okay, not going to be too much longer. We're going to turn it over to Scott and to Paul for prize money from today. But for the Hacker trip, just a little bit of recognition. First of all, tops on the list is I put a lot of time in this, and it takes a lot of time away from my wife. So I want to thank Sandy for allowing me to do all this.
She appreciates hackers.
Yes, she does.
You better.
And one of the things I try to do to make Hackers better every year is I get a lot of help and I delegate. So number 1 on the list is the man behind the curtain here, Scott Benson. He has an uncanny knack of giving me something before I even ask for it. He knows I already need it.
Radar.
Paul Prashazny, he's my money man. He puts a lot of energy into to Hackers. Pat Papania had to leave. He does a lot for me as well. He's also one of the greatest recruiters for Hacker. I've got about 3-4 guys, many of them are in the room, that when we need someone to make the numbers be even, they come up with someone. And Chris Pratt I'm going to address in a minute. We also have 6 coveted green shirt winners in the room. Bob Leidick, somehow or another I won one. Paul Prashazny, Mike Hall, Mark Ecclestone, and Bob Baxendale.
Okay.
So, recognize the Hall of Fame winners. There are also 11 Hacker Hall of Fame members in the room. Baxendale, Hall, Toth, both Kukwas, Benson, Prashazny, Herzog, Ecclestone, me, Papania. Oh, Papania left the room. Want to also recognize last year's coveted green shirt winner, Bob Leidick.
Wow.
And the doubles champs who are not here, that was Pat Papania and Ricky Roberts. And because this is on video and he'll eventually see it, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Chris Pratt. He's at a wedding in Canada and can't be here. Chris had his first trip back in 1996. He's been on 21 total trips. He was a 2004 winning Hacker Cup captain. So if you suck, you just surround yourself with good players, right?
Way to go, Chris.
He was inducted into the Hacker Hall of Fame in 2008.
How many were there? 4 people?
No, it's team one.
Okay,
Yeah,
4 people.
Chris bought this. This is the Hacker Cup that we play for every year. We didn't get to do it this year. We've had a modified version of it today, and we'll get to that in a minute. Chris, of course, is also the CEO of Rookie Initiation. We had a mini Rookie Initiation on Monday night. A couple of them are still here.
Really? Bo Peep?
He's also the producer of all the hacker videos. He has just got a knack. You'll see when you look at the Heath and Ross tribute. He did the Gilligan's Island one last year, the Hacker Boys video, a few other ones.
The rookie one was great.
And he also, the one year I took off was the Interim Hackers 26 HMFIC. By the way, Bob, will you ever call me and suggest anything like this again?
No.
I didn't think so. That's a great idea, do it.
It wasn't that hard.
Okay.
Swam with the right
I'm gonna
hand.
go to Rachel for just 1 minute. We're gonna talk about Hacker Cup.
Hey, that's the ladies' room.
Yeah. Where did he go?
That's the ladies' room.
Rachel.
All right, we got Rachel coming out.
Yay!
I need Kukla, I need Toph.
The Irish is the family.
The Irish girl.
You want to get on either side of Rachel and let her hold your wrist
Your wrist.
for our modified Hacker Cup competition? All right, by a score of 8.5 to 4.5, the winner is.
Basket.
Oh, yeah.
It's a number 1 ball.
Okay.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
Let's hear it for Rachel.
Okay. I'll have to figure it out.
Asterisk.
Hi, Bob. You're on my team, right?
Absolutely.
There you go. Polly?
Yes, sir. I got an orange shirt on.
Okay.
You can't catch where the.
I'm right behind you, Captain.
There you go.
Jawski, Benson.
Hey.
If you're on Jim's team, raise your hand, because you're not wearing the right shirt. You lost.
No, you lost.
Nate, you weren't on the team.
What does it look like I'm wearing, Bob?
Doesn't make any difference. You were on the other
He
team.
doesn't have to worry.
Hopefully we haven't
I'm
the new guy here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, you're not yet.
Am I
Nate
not?
wasn't on your team.
Now, while Jim's doing that,
You win.
while Jim's doing that, this is an unofficial event.
Jim. Yeah.
team was I on?
The name that's going to go on the cup for this year is Hurricane Florence.
You were on it.
She won it.
Hey, wait.
But I think for this fabulous event,
Wait, got one.
And one more.
Wait a minute.
did you take one?
Mahavka got one. Hurley.
Now, Mr. Toth, you
Yes.
do not get your name on the cup, but
Alright.
next year's captains are Kukla and Toth.
Okay.
But as a remembrance of being the Hacker Cup champion captain for the trip that never was,
Look at the camera.
The camera's on.
Smile for the camera.
Bite is zero.
we have a flag that says Hackers 29. That goes to Jim Toth.
That's bullshit.
So nice.
Fix.
It should have been a diaper.
All right, at this point,
Hey, you have Plesh's ball.
no, I know.
By the way,
Yeah.
Nate wants to drink out of a sheep's ass before you go into.
We don't have the sheep. We can buy him a shot if you want. We
That's the other thing
did,
Brad does, he takes.
we did initiate, what, 5 rookies Monday night? What was it?
Yes.
We made them drink. We got pictures.
Can we use anybody else's ass?
All right, we're gonna get Nate a shot while we do the rest of this. At this point, I'm gonna turn it over to Paul Prashadny and Scott Benson, who will, and Bob, who's got the skin money? Paul?
I got it.
All right, so Paul and Scott are gonna be, hand out the prizes from today. I'm out.
All right, over and out.
Great job, Bob.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Skins first. We'll get that out of the way. All right, guys, for skins tonight, we played, we created a separate pot of money for the senior tees and the white tees. So I'll start with the silver tees. There were 7 skins total. They were worth $10 a piece.
Hey, wait a minute, I helped you win.
And the first skin goes to Mark Kavanaugh on hole number 1.
Hopefully it doesn't bleed through too
There's $10.
Thank you.
Second one goes to Ted Peck on hole number 2 with a birdie.
Birdie, 10.
Were both those guys on the losing team?
That's a
Ted
net.
Peck.
That's
Come on up here.
a net birdie.
That's a net birdie for both of those. All right, then we go to Bob Leidick on hole number 5.
All right,
Net birdie. $10.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
There you go. Teddy apparently doesn't want his money. Okay. Then we have a double winner, Mr. Ecclestone. Gets a 3 on 6, 3 on 7.
Hey,
$20.
Ted, you got a skin.
And then we got Schwartzy with a 3 on number 10. $10.
Movie man.
Movie man, there you go.
Hold that. Hold it, I gotta get my skin.
And then finally, right there, take $10. Finally, on hole number 17 with a 3, Jim Toth.
Captain, oh Captain.
You don't want your money?
I want you next year.
All right.
You
For
can't beat,
the-
hey, you couldn't beat me. You
For
might
the
as well
white
play him.
tees, the white tees, there were 4 skins.
Foreskin.
Amongst us Jewish people. They were worth $13 a piece. The first one goes
Are you
to
sure?
Mike Hall with a net 3 on hole number 4. $13. I can give
I'll
you.
mention that this is right here.
Yeah, that's right there. I need a $10 bill from you. You have it?
Yeah, hold on.
Well, you might get it out of there if you can find 2 of them in there.
There needs some change in there.
What do you need? I need a $10 bill.
I don't have a $10 bill.
All right, well, we'll come
Give me a
back to
20,
you.
give me a 20. I'll put
Huh?
the 20 in here, and then you'll have 2 10s.
Give you a 20.
No, you weren't.
Is there change in there?
Oh.
All right, just give me 5 seconds.
will.
That's all right. All right, we'll sign that in. Just 1 second. I'll get it.
Bob, you were making it, right?
All right.
What's that? Go ahead and sign.
All right, put that in there. All right, so you get $13. So here's 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, the second one goes to Mr. Baxendale.
Right.
What? At 3 on hole number 7. You got a $10 bill?
Right, Bob.
You got a $10 bill on you? That would be helpful if you did. If you don't. The third one goes to Billy Herzog with a 3 on hole number 10.
Just put it in. I'm going down there.
Yeah, 10, 11, 12, 13. There you go, Billy boy. And then the last one goes to Bob Felty on hole number 15 with a 3.
He wants to
Oh, wait.
Put it in the.
You gotta be here.
Put it in the.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Wait a
10,
minute.
11, 12, 13.
Put it in the can.
There you
What
go.
was this for?
Wait a minute.
It's for the blue
You're at hole number 15, you had a net 3.
Do I get to sign in?
Put it in the
No.
can.
So that's that. All right, now we'll do the proxies, and we'll get those out of the way as well. Proxies were worth $10 a piece. On hole number 2, the proxy goes to Bob, and a sleeve of balls, Bob Baxendale. $10 and a sleeve of balls. There you go. Congratulations.
Yay!
On hole number 8, Mark Ecclestone. $10.
Nice
and
shot,
a sleeve
Mark.
of balls.
Good
shot, Mark.
On hole number 12, Billy Herzog. $10 and a sleeve of balls. Are you getting tired of coming up here?
balls in there.
And on hole number 14,
beating the hell
Paul Prashazny. with
No balls.
$10 and a sleeve of balls.
$10 and a sleep.
All right, Scott, back to you. Back to you.
Back to you, Chuck.
Which one you want to do, singles or doubles?
All right,
Either one.
Scott is going to announce the winners. Get your money from Paul, and remember there is a bucket in front of him for our good
Want to do
cause.
singles, Marky? Want to do singles first? Yes.
No, doubles. Doubles
Doubles
first.
first?
Doubles first.
All right, we're doing the first 5, right?
Top five. from
Top
five
five
up.
in doubles.
Five
First
first.
place is $80.
No, we're going bottom up.
Oh, we're gonna go bottom
Bottom
up.
up.
All right.
Well,
Fifth place
Wait,
is,
program, I can't tell you exactly how much under everybody was,
all
but,
right, doesn't matter. Fifth place is worth $10.
and it went to Baxendale and Herzog at a 146.
Max,
Yeah.
you get $5 each out of there.
I'll do the Baxendale.
All right, fourth place, $20.
Went to Pat
there's a
Papania
$5 I owe you.
Pat Papania gone, and
and Pat Papania.
he won it by himself?
No,
Yep.
He didn't have
Doubled his score.
No, his partner was Pat.
His partner was Pep.
Pat and 2 partners.
I'll see
That's not
Pat
what he-
somewhere down the road at Sunny
Yeah,
Hill.
sure.
Okay.
All
Sure you will.
right, third place was $40.
Prashazi Plesha.
Hey! Where are you, buddy boy?
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
$20 comes out of that to me. Second place, $60.
Benson Jaholski.
Benson Saholski.
Whoa!
The
Put it
whole
in the
thing?
can. We don't want it.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
What a generous donation that is. And first place, $80, goes to
Ecclestone Swartz.
Bullshit.
Whoa!
There you go. Wow.
Thank God for handicap.
All right. We got singles. And there were a couple of ties. So tied for fourth place, $15 apiece, were
Mark Jaholski, Paul Prashazni.
Hey! Back
In the can.
Okay, back in the can. You are a generous man. Tied for second place, worth $35 apiece, goes to
Scott Benson, Bruce Swartz.
Yeah.
back in there.
Bruce, you want to put yours in
There's
there?
yours.
Yeah.
And our singles first place $50 winner is
Mark Ecclestone.
And the trophy.
What was the net? What was the
That was a doubles trophy.
What'd you do?
And for Bruce.
91. 91.
91.
Boy, am I glad this is an unofficial event. We don't have to listen to this all year.
You'll listen to it all year.
Hey, Jaholski, adjust his handicap for.
Yeah, for next year.
Yo, give me your cell phone number, will you?
You have it. Bullshit.
All right. This is a non-official event, and none of the scores today count in their handicap, but we can take a vote. All in favor of having Ecclestone 91 be his average score for this year, say aye.
No!
Let's bend over.
Hey.
Also, we had a rookie initiation, unofficial, last Monday at dinner at the Liberty Tap Room. Nathan wasn't there. Nathan, please stand up and introduce yourself to the man.
Yeah, Nate. What am I gonna say? I'm a rookie and I'm his son.
Nate, you don't want to lead with that.
That's not a good thing. Oh, boy.
We don't have the inflatable lamb, but anyone that would like to get him a shot.
You gotta do it again next year anyhow to make it official.
What does he like?
What is he like?
What does he like?
Fireball. I think he's got to drink it out of here.
Just a quick note.
Hold over, Holt.
Just a quick note. Just a little bit of recognition for the person who came the farthest to come to this event.
Yes.
Russ Cooper lives in Florida.
And when I knew Bob was putting together, I couldn't resist.
Thanks for coming, Rob.
Anybody need the floor for anything else?
No, you're good. Good job.
All right, Hackers 29 is officially over. Thank you, everyone. There will be a Hackers 30 next year. We thought about calling it Hackers 29 Take 2, but we did enough where this was a trip. We will have our 30th anniversary trip next year. Look for a save the date message coming out in the next month or two.
You gonna try for September again?
Let's do it in.
Oh, yeah, September's a great month.
Is to do it the exact same week, because there's never been a hurricane the same week 2 years in a row. I don't know. Until next week.
Hey,
Hacker
What have
30.
you been able to arrange so far about the trip?
Yeah.
That never happened.
Okay, Bruce, you can cut the video at this point.